Hello and welcome to Tech Circle Live. I am Vignesh and today we have a guest speaker talking about the challenges revolving around unstructured data. But what is unstructured data in simple terms? Data in any form which does not easily fit into a data model or belong to a data set can be termed as unstructured data. Also note that maximizing the value of data assets is a critical component of any digital transformation journey. For this episode, Tech Circle spoke to Tuseth, who is a General Manager for Unstructured Data Solutions for the APAC region at Dell Technologies, on the challenges enterprises face in making the most out of unstructured data. Tuseth has been with Dell EMC for close to 9 years before moving to Dell Technologies about 5 months ago. And back at Dell EMC, he played critical roles associated with data protection software, software-defined storage, and modern data centers. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
So if you consider the fact that 80% of the world's data was created within the last 24 months, and 80% of that data is unstructured data, the volume of unstructured data just continues to increase. A lot of that's because if you think about structured data, structured content, it often has to do with applications and applications only. It'll be a database or something with structure, whereas unstructured data is both applications and users. So if you think about India as an example, with over 250 million mobile users, each of those mobile users is a content creation machine. They're on their phone all day long, taking photos, taking videos, posting on social media. All of that is unstructured content. And all of that creates both a burden and an opportunity for enterprises and organizations in how they interact with their customers and how they manage all of that data and derive value from it. So in order to train the algorithm, and the algorithms have been around for a very long time, you need two additional infrastructure components. You need the ability to train the models in concurrency. So you need to be able to scale things out from a concurrency perspective. GPUs and servers allow us to do that. And so GPUs were created in the 90s really for gaming, for graphics. But now it's really being used for artificial intelligence and the ability to train many models for inference simultaneously. In addition to that, you need to have infrastructure below the server from a storage perspective that delivers the same thing, that doesn't bottleneck, that delivers the ability to have lots of different concurrent models trained simultaneously across large volumes of data. Because the last piece of this, the last piece that's required for AI is large volumes of data. The more data, the more accurate the model becomes. We really see significant growth in some areas that probably make sense, like media and entertainment is a significant vertical for unstructured data, as they themselves are creators of massive volumes of unstructured data. And the media and entertainment industry is actually growing. It's growing everywhere in the world, including here. That has to do with the fact that it's not just traditional studios that are creating content. Users are creating content. There are new streaming entities such as Netflix and others that are creating their own content in order to compete with traditional studios. And so the volume of media related to entertainment is exploding. And so we really see a lot of growth in that area. The other area I'd say is healthcare and life sciences is a substantial area of growth. I mentioned digital pathology. More traditional PACS environments are another example of where there's significant amounts of unstructured data. And then other areas, the first genome that was sequenced cost $1 billion. Today we do genomic sequencing at less than $1,000, and it drops like a rock, the cost to do so. CS, Elastic Cloud Storage, and it is what it sounds like. It's a cloud storage capability. It's a cloud storage platform. And what cloud storage means in this instance is really API-driven storage. So when people are talking about developing a cloud-native application, what that really means is that they're writing to a cloud-native API, the most common being S3. So S3 started in Amazon, and now it's really sort of become the de facto standard. And so when you write an application to an API, as opposed to a file system, you can eliminate a storage abstraction layer that actually takes up a tremendous amount of code. Up to 90% of an application can just be helping the application remember where in the file system it's putting the information. So by eliminating that, you eliminate a tremendous amount of code in existing applications that could actually write to an object API or new cloud native applications. So when you consider the fact that developers spend roughly 60% of their time just maintaining existing code, it frees up a significant amount of time for developers to write new software, develop new applications, and create competitive advantage for a company. We have customers in Australia, Fox Sports, and they are streaming cricket via 4K, and so 4K being the latest essential media for broadcasting. And what they required was the ability to have really efficient, because of the scale and size of the files that we're talking about streaming, and really fast infrastructure that allowed them to deliver cricket over 4K. So very, very high resolution into the screens of cricket fans across Australia. Another example I'd share with you is actually a local entity. Unfortunately I can't name them. But what they've done is it's a public sector entity, and they've created an application that allows hundreds of millions of Indians to actually manage their information via a mobile app. So again, if you think about the $250 million people here that have mobile phones and mobile access as their primary access to information, makes it much simpler and easier for those people to actually access their information. And again, that's all unstructured data that is done in a cloud-like persona. And so because of that cloud-like persona, they're writing to an API. It's really simple. It's really efficient. Changes can be made nearly instantaneously to the application as required, and that's delivered with ECS, our cloud storage capability. Clearly, I agree with that. As a person responsible for unstructured data, clearly I agree with that.
Elaborate that?
Yeah, so the concept here is over the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a consolidation of data, intended consolidation of data in the core. So that would be either an enterprise data center or a public cloud. It's really the same concept. So public cloud just being a rented data center in a way. So there's been this consolidation of data and applications. The problem with that is that's not actually where the action's happening. The work is occurring elsewhere. So if you're talking about autonomous driving cars, or if you're talking about a healthcare machine, all of that, or a retail office in a mall, that's where the data is actually being generated, and that's where the compute needs to occur in order to actually start to leverage information in real time. And so the shift is that. So the silos disappear because you push out to the edge, you maintain data there, and then once you've processed it, once you've utilized it, you only bring back the small amount that's left that needs to be managed and maintained, and you bring it into a single location. Break down silos, and that's easier probably than it seems. The first places that people can look for is, do they have multiple file systems that they can consolidate? Do they have tape libraries that they can eliminate? Do they have any specific unstructured data applications that they can bring into that same environment? The second thing is really get smart about AI. Really understand how you'll be able to leverage AI to drive cost out of your business model and to drive competitive advantage in how you engage with your customers and how you create products. It's going to touch every aspect of a business. And so you really have to start preparing today for how you're going to leverage AI. And the third thing is be really smart and efficient about how you manage information. We spend a lot of time talking about the infrastructure underneath. There's a management and orchestration component to all data. So if you look, for example, at multi-cloud or hybrid cloud, what we're really talking about is the ability to seamlessly manage information, manage it and orchestrate it, have multiple landing zones where workloads can apply based on the unique attributes of that workload. So some of that will be structured, some of it will be unstructured, but the experience for your users, especially your business users, should be the same. They don't need to know anything that happens underneath it.